What's going on, guys? Stan the Man here with Dean Thomas. How are we today, Dean?
I am good, man. It's good to see you.
Great to see you. It's one of those things. We talked for like 20 minutes, and then we're like, oh, let's go do the little interview.
I know. I think we said everything we needed to say, so good luck trying to find something else to talk about.
I mean, a lot of things to talk about. One of the things we talked about, it's amazing to me that you now retired, don't train at all.
Man, I'm old. I got a bad back. And listen, I did everything that I ever wanted to do inside of a cage and on a mat. Now it's about everybody else. So I just like giving back to other fighters.
Okay, but we're going to get back to that. We're going to circle back to that. The first thing we got to talk about is you said you're going to start training, though, after the Will Smith smack and Chris Rock.
Yeah, but I do want to make sure that I still got a decent punch because Chris Rock got targeted because, he's soft, he's old, and everybody knew he wasn't going to do nothing. So I look like that, too. So I want to make sure that if you run up on me in the street, you're going to have another thing coming.
I mean, you've trained countless rounds. You think you don't have it anymore?
I mean, my timing is off. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I still got my timing, my defense. So I watch a lot of, Petr Yan and go, all right, I got to make sure my defense is tight like that.
Love that segue right there. So Petr Yan, Aljamain Sterling. You're one of the fighting minds. You're one of the voices of the UFC. You do the in-between rounds in the octagon. You give some, what do they call that?
The coach's voice. I think that's really what they call that.
Let's get the coach's voice's opinion right now on Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. Can you give picks?
Oh, I can give picks. I'm going against the grain here. I actually think that Aljamain Sterling can get it done because I think the narrative has been written on Aljamain that he cheated to get the belt. So everybody just kind of ran with that and says he's the paper champion, doesn't deserve it. But we almost forget how good Aljamain really is. Like, this is a guy who's got 3 losses, 2 split decision losses, and accidentally ran into a knee of Marlon Moraes. I mean, he's really good. And then even when he fought Petr Yan the first time, he was winning. He won 2 of the first 3 rounds. He was on his way to losing the fight, but he won them rounds, which means that he can do good against Petr Yan if he wants to. I think we're going to be looking at a healthier Aljamain Sterling. He wasn't even healthy in that fight. I think we're going to be looking at a healthier Aljamain Sterling, and I think he can get it done.
We got the same brain on this one. Aljamain, I always say, only fought 88 seconds in 2 years going into that first fight. Wrist surgery, neck problems, all types of shit. Now he's healed. He's now fought that 20 whatever minutes that he won the first 9 minutes of, in my opinion. Take out that right hand.
Yeah, take out the right hand. He won the first and second round easily. And if you really look at the third round, I thought he did more in the third. I thought he won the third round as well. He just looked bad. Like he's kind of flail. Like everything that went wrong for Aljamain in the first 3 rounds was self-induced. It was him flailing around and acting crazy. Like Petr Yan didn't really do much to him except for that right hand. Everything else was just like Aljamain like flailing around and jumping down on the ground and it just being really sloppy. I think if he cleans himself up, composes himself a little better, and follows the game plan what they have set for him, I think he gets this done.
For sure. Me and Menace were talking, too. I don't know if you saw his video he posted recently. People were like, steroids, all this shit. The most vascular I've ever seen him 2 weeks out from a fight. So he's in the best shape of his life.
I mean, he's in shape. He's never had an issue with cardio before, and that was the issue in the last fight. Now, he says he didn't feel good prior to the fight. But
people always joke, 2 eggs, 2 pancakes.
Is that? Oh yeah. So
that's what he ate before the fight, apparently.
So I don't know what he ate. I don't know how he felt. But I do know one thing. He felt Petr Yan. He got a chance to feel what it feels like to be inside a cage with that guy, and I think that Aljamain has some things that he can do that can really give Petr Yan some problems. And I think one of them is his length. He's long, and that can give. And Petr Yan's not a mover. Aljamain is, and he can give him a lot of problems.
I mean, obviously, all 3 of those fights, either guy is capable of winning. But yeah, I'm pulling for Aljamain as well. Let's go, Volkanovski, Zombie. Who are you picking in that one?
So I think this is a mismatch. I think that the Korean Zombie is way in over his head in this fight. He's a good fighter. Don't get that twisted. Let's not make no mistake about that. He's got a good punch. He's a veteran, true vet of the game. But let's be honest here. Like, what he's not good at, Volkanovski is probably the best in the world at, and that is feinting. And Korean Zombie, like, when he fought Brian Ortega, he fell for every feint in the book and made Brian Ortega look like Israel Adesanya. Now, we're talking about Volkanovski, who's probably better at setting traps than anybody in all of the UFC. I think this is a complete mismatch.
So Gilbert Burns, when I asked him about that fight, was quick to answer. Volkanovski too. So everyone's kind of jumping on.
Everyone sees it. They may not know how to explain why or articulate why, but I'm telling you that Korean Zombie has a shot though. Like if he catches him, just catches him with a good punch, he could change the course of the fight. But that is highly, highly unlikely.
Definitely has the old adage of the puncher's chance.
He has a puncher's chance, but it's highly unlikely. I mean, Volkanovski doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he's so calculated on his offense that I see this fight being completely one-sided.
And that's definitely the coach's mind right there, the coach's corner, whatever we called it, where you see that the average person won't see is the reads. That's what makes Volkanovski so good, is how quick he reacts, how much he reads your...
Not only does he read, but he also dictates the reading of what's going on. So when he fought Jose Aldo, when you watch that fight, he was slowly stealing that round from Jose Aldo while Jose was just kind of watching what was going on. And Volkanovski's just stealing around. Round one's over. Wow, Jose Aldo didn't do anything.
And one of his strongest weapons that overlooked, attack of the leg. How he just constantly picks your leg apart.
He picks your leg apart. His movement is great. He's feinting. In the clinch, he's a beast. His ground and pound is underrated. He's got a lot of tools and a lot of assets that most people can't recognize. So I think that's why he's not a little bit more popular than he should be.
And then 2 title fights. The biggest fight seems to be Gilbert Burns versus Chimaev, or the most talked about one. What do you got there? That's a tough one. It's a
tough one. And it would be hard for me to come in here and be like, yeah, man, Chimaev is the greatest thing ever. But I'm not gonna lie, he's a very good fighter. He's a very dangerous fighter. But I think the odds on that are very misleading. I think that Gilbert Burns possesses so much more and brings so much more to the table than people are giving him credit for. And I think it's just because MMA is a trendy sport, and when somebody gets on somebody, they ride that. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, at one time, Joe Rogan said Ronda Rousey was a once-ever type athlete, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. So I think, when we get on somebody, we kind of ride them high. But I think Gilbert Burns can get this fight done because, one, and I'm not criticizing the opponents of Chimaev. I'm going to criticize their skill sets. All of them needed to be on their feet in order to fight Chimaev. Gilbert Burns doesn't have to be. He can fight him anywhere in the fight. He doesn't have to be. If he gets taken down, he doesn't have to get back up to win that fight. He can win on the bottom. And if he does and I think Gilbert wrestles better than all those other guys. He's more dangerous on the feet, and he's a smarter competitor. He's a smarter competitor than anybody that Chimaev has faced. So he possesses a serious threat. If I had to put money on this, I would put my money on Gilbert.
Gilbert's a huge underdog too, so that is a smart bet. But even
smart bet.
I've been wondering why Gilbert is being so overlooked in this fight, and people are riding Chimaev so high. He's never faced someone in the top 10. He's definitely never faced someone in the top 5. Gilbert's top 3.
Well, and I get all that, but so in Chimaev's defense, when I watch him as a coach, he does a lot of things well. Mm-hmm. He's a very good fighter. His shots are quick. He shoots good. He transitions well. Ground and pound. He does a lot of things well. So I can look at that and go, yeah, man, he's definitely deserving of this position. But at the same time, when you do, it's like he's drilling. So when you watch a guy drill, you know what he's capable of. But then when you watch it against somebody who has a defense and a counter to it, then we see what they're really made of. And we haven't seen that from him yet. We haven't seen, in terms of skill, how he reacts to a guy who can defend the shot. How he reacts to a guy who can kick him in the leg and spin him around. And so there's a lot of questions that are going to be answered, that should be answered on Saturday night with that fight. But if I was a betting man, that's candy from a baby. Take Gilbert Burns.
I like it. All right, Dean, I'll let you get out of here. I know you got some work. You got some work in Jacksonville to get to. You got your radio show. You gave me a list I couldn't even fathom. You gave me 10 different jobs. Where can people find you?
Oh, my God, I'm everywhere. So I have a radio show that I'm about to go to do right now, ESPN West Palm. If you have the ESPN app, just put us in ESPN West Palm. Sirius Radio, MMA Today. And I have a new podcast called The Lover and the Fighter with Dean Thomas and Josh Cohen. And you can catch me on all the UFC's pre-show, post-show, coach's voice in the corner, and Dana White looking for a fight, and the Dean Diaries. Man, the list goes on. Just follow me on Instagram, and then you'll see what's up.
Dean Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, brother.